Well, hey, Cowboy Jim, let's just bring this a little closer here. Way I look, I should have taken it a bit further away. But I hope you enjoyed that last video. I tell you, the one before it, 199, man, I could watch that one 3 or 4 times in a row. And in the next 100, I hope God's able to touch my heart a bit. Because if He doesn't, you and I, well, we'll both be wasting our time. And time's all we have left here on earth. And we're not real certain how much that is. But I am personally certain that whatever time I have left, I'm going to lever to the full. I tell you, I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go to work. Well, I'm not going to go there. But when I lay down at night, I want to know beyond a shadow of doubt that I have set some goals that were too high for me, but that I tried my very best to reach them. And if I tried my very best, whether I reach them or not, I'll be quite happy. Quite happy. I had the privilege and the honor of having a pretty smart mother. She did on occasion say some pretty dumb things. She can't hear me. I know she's in heaven. I know she's with the Lord. There's no doubt of that at all. And she's with her mother, Liza Fisher, who my mom lost when she was quite young. And but that Liza Fisher, my grandmother, she prayed for all of us. And she knew God. She knew who He was and what He was. And in my heart, I know she did the best that she could with my mom, because my mom turned out to be the brightest woman I ever met. There's one who called me Cowboy Jim. Boy, I wish those two had gotten together for an afternoon and compared notes. Now, my mom was old, and the Cowboy Jim lady is too young. But I see, have had the privilege of looking, and I have seen a reflection of extreme intelligence in both those ladies. One of the things my mom said that I found was particularly bright, and then I'm going to follow it with one that you and I may both question. Mom said, "You've fallen in love with a girl," and I didn't kid around with my mom. I didn't see much value in it. She asked a question, and the reason she did was she knew the answer, or she wouldn't ask it. And I would say yes. To the best of my understanding, I would say yes. I don't really know what that love. Cute buns stuff like that, I recognize quite well. Uh, Never did learn what true love was until this past spring. Never had a clue, and but I do now. And my mom, she would say, "Well, if you figure that lady you run into or that girl child uh, is kind of worth, shall we say, a little meritorious." Uh, Mom would say, "Take a look at the mother. If you think you could stand hanging out with the mother, living with the mother, well, there's a chance that you might make it with the daughter. And but there's a chance the daughter's going to turn out just the same as the mother. There is a chance, though, too, that that daughter, if she feels strong enough that the mother was not the example that the mother should ought to have tried to be or been, uh, my mom would say that child has a chance to do better than the mother. My mom would say, "Listen, uh, if you if the grandmother's alive, she would say, you take a look at that one. You take a long, hard look at that one, because that one had great influence on the mother of the child that you seem to be interested in." And and I listened. And the reason I listened is my mom was pretty bright. Okay, uh, flip side of that coin. Here it is. You ready? You ready? Mom would say, "You make sure you change your underwear before you go into town, son. Don't want you to get killed and you end up having to be embarrassed over the fact that your underwear wasn't as clean and possibly as it should have been." Well. I thought about that for a long time. I tell you, I thought about most everything my mom said. Uh, I really pity you, you guys who think I might just be a mama's boy. Uh, I'd suggest you never make mention of that if we run into each other. It probably won't work out good for either one of us. My mom, I guess she didn't understand the basic bodily function. When you die, there's a, shall we say, you're not going to know what is fresh or what is old. But I listened to the woman, and and I understood really what she was saying. And people don't, hey, you know I'm going to bring this around to the Lord. That's what I do. You know that. So don't get upset with me. I'll tell you this, though. You have friends, acquaintances, or somebody you really don't like. Recommend to them that they watch Old Cowboy Jim. Well, perhaps they may just hear something that might help the ones that you don't like to be more likable. And perhaps the ones that you do like, that you do care about, you're concerned about, perhaps they may look a little deeper than this old rancher's appearance and look a little higher up and find a true peace that passes all understanding. So here, short, succinct, to the point. Uh, oh, that's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? Well, let's take a shot at it and see where we get. Mom said the two things that oh geez, she said so much more. I'll tell you, we'll get to them. Uh, but this is 201. And I'm not going to mention numbers again until we get to 299. If I don't get back to work pretty soon, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, um, well, anyways, um, I'm gonna be bored. That means we might get to 299 much sooner. Mom said, you don't want to die and be embarrassed. It's bad enough dying, but being embarrassed too. That's that's a little bitter. You and I, we we have the privilege of living, and the joy of giving, the pleasure of experiencing, the honor of loving. This life is somewhat, shall we say, brief. Spoken of in Scripture as a vapor. You can see it for a momentary, brief moment, and then it dissipates into the air. It speaks of living, dying. There is one mention of it in the twinkling of an eye. The amount of time it takes for you to do that, I slowed that down. But you run those eyelids over your eyes to increase the moisture level to protect the eyes. Makes them feel better. That's what life is. Your life, mine. It's that brief. The only thing that is going to last beyond that brief blinking is what you leave behind. What are people going to remember you for? And for me, that's important. And the idea that Mom put forth, um, make sure you have clean underwear on, son, when you go to town, because you may get killed. Don't want to be embarrassed. Children, God has given you life. You have ascertained in your own heart, mind, soul, spirit, body, person, what that encompasses. That's your place, that's your right, that's your job, your duty, your obligation. I showed encouragement to you. I don't want you to believe as I do. I don't want you to behave as I do. I don't want you to look as I do. I want you to look the way you are. I want you to think the way you think. I want you to be what you choose to be, because you can be what you choose to be. You can walk in a type of reality that is the fulfillment of the desire of your heart. The most beautiful woman in the world that I ever met. She asked one day, text, I was sitting with my son and waiting for his highway truck to get fixed out in front of a mechanic place here in Fort Mac. And she said, what am I? Or who am I? And I told her, I said, you are whatever you choose, perceive to be. Whatever you want to be, that's what you are. That's what you can be. It's up to you. Well, what you can be is what you hope and wish to be. No one can decide that for you, just you. I'm watching the clock a bit. There's a reason for that. I noticed that all my videos, the title determines how many people will watch it. The length of time determines how many people will persevere to the end of it. You live your life. Don't you worry about your underwear. But be concerned about this. When you close your eyes for the last time, you are going to open them again. And it will be to the reality that you may or may not have chosen to walk in. But it will be a reality. It will be your reality. While you are living, consider, what do you believe that reality will be? And you choose wisely. You know my choices. You haven't persevered this far without knowing where this old rancher sits. God bless you. God bless you. You today will live out the reality of your perception of who and what you are in this life. And if you take the time to have a benchmark, a standard to go on, and you have the choose between good and evil, you may, as we mentioned in the last video, you may choose that there is no such thing as good. But you know there is such a thing as evil. You may choose to believe there is no such thing as evil, but you do know there is such a thing as good. Children, you have a rough row to hoe. It's ahead of you. You can do it. You ask God to help you. God bless.